and welcome to Show and Sell, the show that celebrates digging through other people's trash. Hello, Trash Dragons. I'm Chris, Trash Dragon of the West. That is my guitar, Mr. Blankenship.
Hi, Mr. Blankenship.
He says hello back and reminded me that I sell on eBay and Discogs, mostly media.
And I'm Katie, and I'm Trash Dragon of the South, and I sell mostly clothing and accessories, but I always shop for anything unique, sparkly, and sometimes a little bit spooky.
And I'm Joe. I'm Trash Dragon of the East, and I sell staplers. You name them, I got them. Stapling Joe, come on down. It's a staple bonanza. It's our 4th of July staple bonanza sale.
This will come out after 4th of July, but
well, then you missed the sale, didn't you?
So we're going to do something a little bit different this episode. We are going to do a little bit of a clip show. We want to show off some of the stuff that ended up getting cut for time or other various reasons, but still was pretty gold. But we'll do that on our second segment, which will be after our first, which is the thing that brought us joy.
That brought you joy.
Katie, what brought you joy this week?
Roadrunners.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's a good one.
Wait, are they taxidermied or are they artificial?
They're taxidermied.
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
I think it's the first time I have shown taxidermied wares on the channel.
Yeah.
But these guys, I couldn't pass up. Look at them. I'm into them. They're pretty cute.
Those are awesome. Yeah.
It can be cute, and it can be weird. I have received weird taxidermy because when people find out you are interested in taxidermy, then they like to give you weird taxidermy.
Like, you can't just say weird taxidermy and not have an
That's
example.
for another show.
Okay.
When we have weird item as the category, I will bring out some of the odd. I don't know if they should be wearing clothing. I don't know if that's respectful. That's nice.
Probably the weirdest taxidermy thing I ever saw. Probably not the weirdest I ever saw, but the one that comes to mind is it was a canoe about probably like 2.5 feet long, 2.5 maybe 3 feet long, and it had 2 taxidermy raccoons in it with paddles.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Why have I seen that? I don't know where you saw that, but I have also seen that.
I saw it at an auction that I was working, and I was just like, this is golden. And then it sold for like $250. I was like, I am not getting this.
It is golden, though. I've seen humps mounted where it looks like the animal is coming through the wall.
Oh.
Just the backside.
Oh.
So like the backside of like a possum.
I thought it was like a raccoon going, ah.
No. I've seen the other side.
Yeah.
Where it's just like it's halfway in, and that kind of cracks me up because it always takes me by surprise. I'm like,
I don't want to see a raccoon's beehole. But Joe, what's the item that brought you joy?
I'm still sorting through my my treasures from the my Great Missouri Chaunt. Shout out Columbia, Missouri, what up? But I did find this Tamai shirt. Tamai is a manga. I'm not a big manga fan, but it's by Junji Ito. Junji Ito is like a horror manga guy, and I really enjoyed Tamai. And Uzumaki and the other stuff I've read by him. And it's about a sort of an eternal demon spirit who just ruins lives everywhere she goes. And it's a really good, and his stuff is just gnarly and nasty. And I don't know, it's like I love it, and I think it's the kind of thing that I couldn't pass up when I saw it. I knew I wasn't going to be able to flip it for much money, but I was like, it's cool. I like having.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. Manga.
I do like weird horror manga. So
my item of joy is these posters I found from Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Galaxy's Edge is a Disney kind of event, sort of like you can go to Hogwarts. And so Galaxy's Edge is, I think it's now thought of as a pretty insane experiment gone wrong, because it would be like $600 to $800 a night. it was interactive. Like you would basically like find your crew is basically you'd go in and there would be a story that would unfold during your time. And so they'd have actors who kind of would play these roles. So it's kind of like both a hotel stay and an interactive theater
Oh,
experience.
you're at a hotel.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Huh.
And go ahead.
I was gonna say apparently there's a 4 hour video where somebody breaks down. I mean, they've shut it down pretty much.
Yeah.
They ran it for a year and then they shut it down. And there's a 4 hour video online. I don't know who did it, and I haven't watched it, but it came recommended by Jason Pargin, who he's an author. He did.
I follow him
John
on
Dies at the End.
Insta.
Yeah. And he's so his so he was talking about it, and it's just like where apparently they break down all the things that went wrong with it, and it was a pretty bold experiment, but at the end of the day, it's like it relies on everything running exactly precisely. It's like very precisely, and when you have so many variables and people who are coming in, everybody has to stay in character. The guests have to stay in character, and you just can't maintain
that alcohol comes into play somehow.
Oh, so it's not for kids; it's for adults to go and experience.
So these are actually extra rare because they did a kind of run through early on, and so they invited a bunch of people to kind of do this
guinea pigs.
So they, kind of guinea pig their way. And so if you did it, you got this series of 3 posters, but only like 1,800 of these, I think, were made. Like,
do you sell them as a set, or are you going to sell them individually?
I'm selling them as a set because I found an envelope with two sets.
Whoa!
So let's move on to this thing we've been talking about this whole time, which is the clips. I probably won't have a little music thing, but we'll see what happens. All right, we're back. This is we're trying something new. It's a clips episode because we have a lot of gold, and
we've had a year of abundance. And we're sharing some of that with you.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Joe. But it also means we're not going to be doing a Tale from the Flipped this particular episode. So it's just the next segment is all clips. And the first one is Jesse Thorne, who was the guest last week. He's from Maximum Fun. And on this clip, Jesse just talks about Abercrombie & Fitch and Banana Republic because it's just something he loves. I have a question in just where did you get that shirt?
This is okay. So another thing that I'm excited about, I really love like adventure clothes. And the number one thing that I love is old Abercrombie & Fitch. So pre-mall Abercrombie & Fitch. Abercrombie & Fitch was a legendary sporting goods store and travel outfitter that, was where Teddy Roosevelt went to get all of his adventuring gear, right?
It's very cool.
And I'm obsessed with that sort of like early history of Abercrombie & Fitch. In fact, in my house, I have a whole set of Abercrombie & Fitch doorknobs, but I'm really obsessed with that kind of stuff. And so the Abercrombie had a couple of other stores. So there's one called Capper and Capper in Detroit, for example, that sold the same things as Abercrombie. I have a whole bunch of their catalogs too. They're incredible to look at. But in addition to the Abercrombie, I have some stuff from the latter day equivalents, which are this company called Willis and Geiger they're out of business now, although I think there's a license still operating in Japan or something. But made like super high-end safari clothes. And Old Banana Republic. I'm from San Francisco. Like my wife, when I started dating my wife, she lived in the same town as the first Banana Republic store in Mill Valley, California. The people that founded Banana Republic worked at the San Francisco Chronicle together. That's how they got into the business, or they met it and fell in love. So I have a bunch of, and there's this wonderful blog and now Instagram account called Abandoned Republic, where this woman obsesses over the pre-Gap. Banana Republic was bought by the Gap in the late 1980s. And so she's obsessed with the pre-Gap stuff, when the Banana Republic originally was a surplus store. But yeah, like originally it was things like rebadged Israeli paratrooper bags that they would sew a Banana Republic label into. It was like classic surplus stuff. And then they started reproducing the surplus stuff. And then they started having their own designs and, adapting men's militaria stuff for women. And they had these incredibly, incredibly ornate, complicated stores where, I mean, you guys may even remember this from your own childhoods-ish, but like stores where there would be a real army jeep crashing through the facade, or that there would be stuffed rhinoceroses and stuff like that in the stores. So this shirt is a Banana Republic from the mid 80s.
What did you guys think?
I love it. It's funny to me. Whenever it's funny because I learned from that clip about the history of Abercrombie and Fitch, because for me it just never entered my radar until we worked in Soho and Abercrombie and Fitch opened up a store down the street from us on Broadway, and they would always have these sort of dumb looking chodes hanging out like with like they were made up like lifeguards, like no shirts, and they were all super cut, no shirts and like shorts and like the sun block on their nose. And I always thought it would be funny to get the exact same outfit in my doughy build and just hang out with them. Hey guys, what are we doing today? I thought that would be a really good experiment, and I never did it, and I regret that.
Katie, do you have any what reaction inspires you?
Just fury. Why was that cut? That was fascinating. No, I love the specificity of what he loves in his personal style is brilliant to me.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. And a lot of people don't know about lots of people, like, for example, don't know that brands are owned by other brands, like Gap, Banana Republic. All those people
changes them. And it changes how they do everything.
It does. And it's changed hands several times. There's long histories of these companies, but then how they originally start is interesting. And then what changes in the quality is even more interesting. But his specific things that he likes, I love it. He was a great guest. He had lots of, I bet he's got just a house full of interesting stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah. No, that's part of the reason why it was just like, oh, this is going to be a great one. I mean, the reason I ended up letting it go is it was very interesting, but I try to keep the energy up, and that one is super. I was just like, this is super interesting, but it kind of is very,
it's
just
narrow.
It's pretty narrow, and I didn't know any of that about. Like, I was just like, this is fascinating. I think kind of like clipped out, it's a great little segment. But we're going to move on to a personal favorite episode. It was the Garbage Twin reunion show with CJ.
Can I ask one more question really quick? How are the thrifting prices in Charleston for people that aren't from the area? Is it pretty expensive, or have you found spots where you can still find deals, or do you have to kind of go outside the city?
Charleston itself, there's not a lot of great thrifting right downtown. There's amazing but very expensive antiques.
Got it.
But Joe has come down, and there's like a couple of great thrift stores in North Charleston where he has found some cool t-shirts for decent prices. I think like everywhere, prices have gone up a little bit, but being in South Carolina, we're so close to the mountains in North Carolina and Asheville. And if I really want some good deals and some cool finds, that's where I go. It's like kind of more up in the mountains, a little more of the rural areas, just a couple hours away from here. And like Asheville still has really, really good prices.
Asheville's magical. I have been to Asheville, and I would recommend to anybody who's taking a trip to stop in Asheville.
Or don't.
Yeah, don't populate it.
Oh yeah, actually no, just stop by like for a day. You can stay 24 hours and go. Thank you.
You have a time card that you put in.
Yeah, punch in, punch out.
Joe and I were talking about whether you still collect Smokey the Bear stuff, because that was something.
I do. I still love Smokey the Bear stuff. Yes, I have like a sheet somewhere. I have a mug, a sheet, just some different fabrics. But yeah, something I love Smokey the Bear. He's just so sort of innocent, wants to protect nature. I love his whole vibe.
Yeah.
There was that great experience I had, basically picking a garage of somebody who was a dealer and a collector. He's like, I need to get my garage moved. You can just take whatever you want. I need to get everything out of here. So take whatever you want. And so I found a bunch of milk caps. The milk caps had CJ's last name on it. And it was, and so I was just like, this is it reminds me of CJ. That was one of the best things about picking, is when you can find something that reminds you of, reminds you of somebody else, or like brings to mind something pleasant is all.
Or something that they're going to get excited about. Like, hey, I found this for you. And they're like,
Definitely. No, it's so funny to like, I'm sure you guys have this where people know what you like. So then it's like, haha, you can't help but think of me now every time you see this thing. And like, make sure to have many of those things. So people are like, thought of you again, because you have another collection.
But you don't want to be the person who is like really into hippos or mentions offhand that they were into hippos, and then you're just getting hippos all the time. It just didn't fit with the flow. And it was like, I wanted to keep everything, and I try to be ruthless when I edit, like where it's just like, I love this, but it takes like 3 minutes, to kind of really get to the good stuff. So sometimes I kind of feel like sometimes you have to cut great stuff for just to maintain a rhythm or whatever. So, but I'm glad that we get to, show off a little piece of something special from our friend CJ. So I kind of focused on the clips with guests, because those tend to run longer and there's just more stuff. Like a lot of times our interviews with the guests is about 45 minutes long, and I try to cut them down to about 20 minutes. So I knew that there would be just a lot of stuff. But this was just from a episode that I cut just because it was almost like a sort of tag. We had done the joke, and I was just like, well, we don't need all the rest of this. But I was rewatching it. I'm like, oh, this is really funny though. So it was a book I opened on air. It was wrapped in Christmas paper. And I opened it, and it was a religious text. So we kind of created this character named Janet, who gave everyone this book, and they kind of resented it, and they would rather get her muffins, which are zucchini with chocolate inside, but she'd also stick Bible verses in it. So we created this like very elaborate character that and let's watch the clip. So that is the thing that brought us joy, and a really surprise. That was an exciting thing. I think that we all learned, and we all learned a little bit something about Janet and that office that she probably worked at.
Yeah.
But
for the human resources department where she works, where people are trying to get her fired.
I'm trying to eat my lunch, guys. Leave me alone.
That's her catchphrase.
I'm trying to eat my alone.
Janet, it is like 5 o'clock. And
Janet also gets insulted if you don't eat her muffins. You better have a muffin. You better believe she'll come around the desk and check. Oh, you don't like it?
Ladies hate it when you don't eat their muffins. That is true.
Yeah, you do. You need to go ahead and polish that off. Stop it. And if you don't, you need to ball it up in a napkin and throw it away in the trash can outside.
And for some reason, I was just imagining Janet. She was just like, I'm eating lunch now. And she's just like, Janet, you've got a bowl of M&Ms. That's not lunch.
To Janet, it is. It's cheat day.
Yes.
Yeah. You're going to have that bowl of M&Ms, and you're going to be quiet.
I started off my day healthy with the peanut M&Ms and worked my way up.
Janet, I thought you were doing keto. I'm not doing that anymore. Back off.
Wow. You know a janitor or two in your life.
Yeah, I just know people in HR departments.
All right.
I know what cubicle life does to you.
You guys have anything left to say? Let's go to our final
Long live
clip.
Janet.
Done with
Long
Janet.
live Janet.
Long live Janet.
Long live Janet.
Perhaps to return. So let's move on to our final clip, which was a fan favorite. This is The Wicked, Mr. Joe Pickett from Found Footage Festival and VCR Party. Let's play the clip.
There was something called tape trading, where it was like the tape trading circuit,
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, I have a tape traded video from the Onion days, from back in the Onion days. I got from Todd Hansen.
Okay.
Yeah. He told me that you guys would always watch this in the writer's room. The Mike Rowe Precious Moment.
I think that was a little before my time, but Joe, you might remember it.
Dan Weber would basically, Mike Rowe, before he became like a libertarian crank, and the host of Dirty Work, he was a home shopping network guy, and he was just like, you could just feel like he would hold these things up, and he just like, everything was like just this wall of sarcasm that if you knew he was being sarcastic, it was hilarious, but it was also just like, you could see how it would just like, how he would just like still appeal to the kind of people that would like, that he was trying to sell precious moments to. It's just like it seemed like he had contempt for what he was selling, contempt for the audience, and
precious moments, as in the dolls with the
the figurines,
the Bibles. I know precious moments.
My item of joy this week was almost I forgot to bring it, which it was I found a Bible, a Precious Moments Bible.
I have one. Yeah,
it was like I was just like, this hurt my heart in a lot of. It's like it's less than Trump Lee Greenwood Bible, but still, it feels like the forces of capitalist darkness are descending upon us.
Well, how do you think God feels about that Precious Moments Bible? Do you think he's just like thumbs up, or do you think he's like, that's not a real Bible? That's like
you got. I don't know.
I think baby Jesus is upset. I think he's upset.
My son threw your people out of the temple.
Exactly. I swept the Precious Moments tchotchkes off the temple table.
Well, if I remember right, there's illustrations in it, right?
Oh yeah. There's
so
like little.
You have these big moments, like the burning bush or whatever, and then you've got this like wide-eyed child that's clearly. Yeah. Someone's an adult when this happens, but everyone's a child in Precious Moments land. There are no adults. It gives it a weird feeling.
Yeah.
Is there a Precious Moments on the cross?
That's I was going to ask.
Look it up. Where is that?
To the internet. Good stuff. So, like I was saying, a little, like for me, it was a little inside baseball, and also it just we got a little dark towards the end, but I thought it was really funny and worth showing. And there's other. I'm sure. I bet I can clip out a couple more things from like Joe. We just had a great conversation, and he has so much great stuff and he's so good at telling stories, and it's just such a good dude.
We should also shout. I don't know if we might have already done it, but I think we should probably shout out that the creator of Precious Moments passed away recently. What? Oh yeah, Sam Butcher died at 85. Sam Butcher, the ironically named.
According to my mom, by the way, she still has my Precious Moments Bible. So if that is uncovered anywhere, I will bring it in for show and sell.
Yeah, I mean, I still have mine. But do you guys have any thoughts about this?
I think
go ahead.
I see why it was cut.
Okay.
But
likewise,
again, he should come back.
Yes.
All of our guests should come back. We need round 2 with all the guests we've had so far, I would say. They just, they've got, and it's also, I feel like coming on as a guest to this show specifically, I know if I was to come on as a guest, I would feel a lot of pressure what to pick, and I would immediately regret what I had shown.
Right.
I immediately go into another room and say, I should have shown this. this would have been a better thing to show. And so I think some of our guests definitely are going to have that feeling. And so they need a round 2 to be like, this was the thing I should have shown last time. And then it's,
I think we might have done it. Our first clip show. I think this might be a little.
Here's the thing about this clip show. How is it possible that this is the first one we did, yet we did it so flawlessly and definitely did a 5-star clip show?
Yeah.
It's just like it seems impossible, but we did it.
Usually they're trash, but ours are class all the way. Thank you for watching Show and Sell. Hi, Olaf. If you remember, like, share, subscribe. But if you don't, everything is gonna be alright. But if you do, things are gonna be a little brighter for us. There's an algorithm controlling all of our lives. Thank you for watching Show and Sell. If you remember,
like, subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe, everyone. Thank you for watching.
Subscribe.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for coming, everybody.